Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I have prepared a 38-minute data set training, okay? The mindset training you need to have for success. This is the exact mindset I used, the data sets I used to make $500,000, okay? Online, completely honest. And this training was taken from like a mini course I had, okay, 2 years ago. And I was already training people how to do mindset 2 years ago, okay? And 4 years ago, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. My mindset was terrible. And that's when 4 years ago, I started working on my mindset. And yesterday, I was looking through some content I've made in the past, and I was like, let me share it with you guys on YouTube, just publicly, because obviously, this training, I'm not using this training anymore, and it's just like in a database stuck somewhere, and I'm like, I need to share this, but let me check it out first. So first of all, I sped up the training 1.5x because I remember when I was filming this training, I was in Bali in my bed. It was like a rainy day. I was extremely tired, but I was like, you know what? I'll push through this. So I was talking extremely slowly. So what I did is I 1.5x the training speed. But this is literally from like a mini course I had. It was like a 7 or 8 module course. People loved it. And I listened to this and I was like, oh my God, 2 years ago, I already had this mindset. Because sometimes you forget about it. But since it was in a database, I looked it up. I looked up the date. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that my mindset was so strong back like 2 years ago. And I realized that that's the actual secret that led me to all of the success. Obviously, I had ups and downs. I'm not saying that this crazy kid who achieved everything like immediately. Obviously, I had some losses and I failed businesses and lost a lot of money investing and stuff like that. But I used the same mindset I'm going to talk about right now in this training to achieve everything I have today. Those are the data sets. A lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, just show me the step-by-step way to grow your Instagram account and make money. No, there are no steps to when you feel tired. There are no steps when you feel like you want to give up. There are no steps to take when you're in a bad situation and you're like pretty much ready to give up. You're like, you know what? I'm not doing this. There are no steps. The only thing holding you back from giving up is your mindset, your data sets you have, your belief system, okay? Because I'll talk about this in a training, but your beliefs become your thoughts, and your thoughts become your actions, okay? So literally, the way you set your mindset correlates directly in your business, in your relationships, in your health, everywhere, okay? And I remember when I was filming this training, I was insecure to even show my face because I was like, I had pimples all over my face. I had acne. I had back knee all over my back. I was a jacked guy, 112 kilos, laying in bed in Bali, and I was insecure about my face and about my acne. Think about that. But that mindset, I used that mindset, and the mindset I use now, you can see me in front of the camera speaking easily because I feel confident in myself, because my beliefs led me to, cleaning up my diet, to cleaning up everything in my life. So I didn't have acne anymore and I started, loving myself. So those are one of the examples that happened to me in those 2 years. And the mindset I had, I still have today. Maybe some stuff changed, right? But this mindset is bulletproof. So check it out. Hope you enjoyed the training. And leave a like if you like it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And let me know if it helps your data sets.
Let's talk about mindset. A lot of people don't believe in mindset. They think it's weird. I was the same person, okay? I thought mindset is nothing. I thought mindset is not correlated with business, but actually it's very correlated. And I'll explain why super soon. But if you're really, you don't believe in mindset and you're skeptical about things like meditation, let's say, things like affirmations, things about spirituality, you should really hear this out, definitely, because I was the same person, but as an entrepreneur, you always need to learn, okay? And I thought, okay, I'll do whatever, but I'll learn about mindset. And yeah, I learned about it. And basically what happened is it totally changed my life. Like I'm telling you right now, my mindset I had 2 years ago was terrible. And I started changing my mindset. And as soon as I changed it and set my goals, everything changed, because the goals I set to myself 2 years ago, now basically I'm living the life I set for myself 2 years ago. And this is not only because I set the goals, it was also because of my mindset and other things I did, which I'm going to explain very shortly. So just listen up, take notes. This is very important. Instagram and all is super important. Listen to it, everything. But this, if you understand this will lead you all through your life, okay? And this will help you out in any situation. So just hear this out, because you definitely need to hear it, okay? Why you need a good mindset? It all starts with a very simple thing. Have you ever seen this graph? I think it's somewhere from math, right? Sin squared or something like that, right? It's a function, but we're not talking about math right now. So you see you see a zero, right? And let's talk about our mindset right now. You see a zero, and this is like a neutral position, 0, 0. That's neutral, right? 90, when you see 90 degrees, it's neutral again, right? And at 180 degrees, it's neutral again. And at minus 90 degrees, it's also neutral. What does that mean? That means that the graph goes up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And you see, like at around minus 45 degrees, there's a low point. And around 45 degrees, there's a high point. So where I'm going with this, just take a look at this graph, right? If this could apply to your life, that means like you're not a master at mindset. And neither am I, because this sometimes applies to my life too. So look into, that point of around 45 degrees where you can see a high point, where the graph is just at its highest point. Just think about your mindset, okay? So let's say you started doing something, you're driven, you started going to the gym, you started, eating well, and you started, tidying up your room every single day, and you started doing okay with relationships, and you started like confidently talk with strangers, you're really like nice, and yes, everything's going well. And when you do that, you keep it up for a bit, and then whoo, you go down. Okay, you go down to like the low point you see next is between 120 and 150 degrees. Then you go down. You don't want to go to the gym. You say, fuck that. You don't want to work on any business, find any side hustle. You just want to lay in bed and just sit on your phone, eat like, Pringles, and watch Netflix, and just, some people say relax, right? Because be careful with your language, because that's not relaxing. That's actually really bad for you. And then when you're at that point, you just can't take it anymore. You're disgusted of yourself, You think about yourself and you think, I'm not doing anything. So what you do next, you start to go to the gym again, you start to eat well, you start doing all those things again, and you go up. And then what happens is when you're up, you get tired of it. You get, some people say burnout, which is actually untrue. It's just a state of your mindset, right? And then what you do is, again, it starts off with a little clue. You sleep in. Then, you start eating, McDonald's again, and you start watching Netflix all day long, and you didn't do anything. You need to study, but you didn't study. You need to work on your side hustle because you're dreaming about it, but you didn't do it, right? You get the point. And there's another graph, and this is called compound interest. And what is compound interest? Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. And usually this is used by like finance guys, right? If you invest like $20 every single month, it will compound over the next 50 years and you'll become a millionaire, whatever. Yes, that's true, but this works exactly the same way in your life. Crazy, right? Compound interest. Yeah, but Albert Einstein knew that compound interest is not only a finance thing, right? Not only about the money. He wouldn't have called it like eighth wonder of the world if you couldn't apply it anywhere else. So basically this graph shows like compound interest. So right, you start going to the gym, you start to get better, you start your side hustle, you start eating a bit well, and at first you don't see crazy progress, and then whew, it just shoots up like crazy, right? What happened? That's compound interest. And you can apply compound interest to every area of your life. Money, health, relationships, everything you think about, this could be applied. And this goes both ways. If you're bad, this graph could flip around, right? And you could be in even a worse place. But this shows exactly what happens when you are consistent. Just your actions compound over time. At first, you see these like really small, improvements, and you don't actually feel the result. But at the end, you're amazed. You made more money last month than you made in the last year, and you keep getting better and better at it. So our goal here, right now, is basically we have this graph, and we don't want to have this, right? We want to have this in our life. We have to understand that this is this one is good and this one is bad, because we don't want to go up and down in our life. It doesn't matter what area of life, business, relationships, whatever, money, your bank account balance, up and down. You don't want it. You want it to look this way. You want your bank account to look this way. You want your investments to look this way. You want your relationships to look this way. You want your life quality to look this way, right? So our goal is to go from point A to point B. Point A being up and down graph, and point B being compound interest graph. Very simple, right? Two different plans, and we want to go from one plan to another plan. And in between those two plans are just mindset. That's what separates those two, right? If you're, going up and down in your life, all you need is really strong mindset, and then your life will look like a compound interest graph, okay? So what do successful people have that lets them compound their life to success? Very interesting question, right? And the answer is very simple. It's all in your head. Your everyday thoughts that become actions, that become results, right? So let me get this straight right now. You know the feeling when you see like a successful person, you don't even know that person is success, but like quote unquote, you can smell it. You can smell that they're rich. You can smell that they're successful. You just can see it. You don't even need to like talk with them. You already feel it. Isn't that weird? But you know what I'm talking about, because you've probably been in the exact situation I just told you about. You just meet a person and you instantly know, like, yeah, he's probably rich. You don't even like have seen him climb out of like a Bugatti or a Lambo or whatever. You haven't seen him board on his own yacht, right? But you already know it just by looking at him or her. And why is that? Just one simple thing. And that simple thing is energy. So basically, they have this energy around them. And, when you come closer to them, you see them, you can feel that energy. And what is energy? Energy is basically your thoughts. And what is your thoughts? Just your brain, right? Everyday thoughts that go through your brain, millions of thoughts every single day, right? They become actions. And you take different actions. And this goes both ways, okay? So you have a thought, right? A lot of thoughts. And when they become actions, those actions become results. And then you look at those results and you have new thoughts. And those new thoughts become new actions. And those new actions become new results. Very simple, right? To become successful, you have to understand how successful people think. Okay? So this is simple to understand, right? If you have a mind of a successful person, let's say you could get a brain from Elon Musk. Do you think it would take you a long time until you would become a millionaire? Probably like 90 days. To become a billionaire? Few years, right? Just if you had his own brain, like you took the brain from Elon and you put it in your head. Can you imagine that, right? But it's impossible to do it physically. You can't do it. But imagine what would happen if you could train your mind to think similarly. Not exactly the same, of course, because that would take like a lifetime. But you can train your mind to think more and more and more successful. Like they do, right? And not even like Elon Musk, just take an average like Dexamillionaire. Pretty simple. If you take those people's minds, if you pick their minds and you understand how they think, then you're going to take the actions they take. Let's say they hear about a new startup and you hear about the same startup and they decide not to invest and you decide to invest and you lose money. Guess what happened? They already have their mind trained. They see things you don't see. They think a certain way you don't think. That's why they decide not to invest and they choose to quote unquote smell the startup that is actually going to blow up and make them millions. And you just lost whatever, $50,000, right, by investing in a failed startup. So we want to get closer and closer to a successful person's mind as possible every single day. And the only way to do it is through consistency, right? We don't want to do this like one day, 2 days, like we talked about here, right, on the green graph. We don't want to just try and do this for a bit and not see any result after first 30 days and just give up. And then maybe in the future try it again because you saw this course and a guy told you that it works like that. So you still believe in it, but you have tried it and it didn't work for you. But someone else tried it and it worked for them. So you decide to do it again, and then you're not doing it again. We want to be like a blue graph. So if you're going to do this, make sure you're consistent and you do this every day. Okay, so let's start off with the first one. How successful people think. They know that if you don't stop, you don't fail. It may take long to succeed, and you got to be ready for it. Okay, so very simple. Basically, what I just told you. If you're going to do this, make sure you do this every day consistently. Okay, it's very simple, very simple. It's very simple, but not easy because everyone understands that if you don't stop, you never fail. But 99% of people fail because they stop. Okay, that's the only reason people fail, because they stop. If you can be unstoppable, you will be the most successful person you've ever met. Right? You'll be unstoppable. You'll be super, super successful. So just understand this. It's just the process, right? Of course, you will, fail at something and it won't work. But if you go on to another thing and you improve and you try something else, new idea, new thing, you will never fail. You're just learning, right? If you try something and it doesn't work, you just learn the lesson, and that's it. Okay, so successful people understand that everything in life takes time. It may take shorter, it may take longer, but the most important thing is to not stop. Because have you heard about a successful person who quit after 30 days of trying a side hustle? No. You only hear successful people who never stopped, who ran their business for 30 years, and did a lot of stuff and never stopped. They didn't get a 9 to 5 and stop their business. They just were so obsessed about what they're doing that they did it every day, no matter what. They could be broke, live in their parents' basement, but they still did it. Apple was started from a garage. Can you imagine that? Imagine building one of the largest companies in the world from a garage. Imagine that, okay? So people like Steve Jobs, who started Apple, they know, like, okay, I will never stop inventing. I will not give up on my idea of Apple computer, and I will succeed. And he did, obviously. Like, you're probably heard about an iPhone and a MacBook. Some of you are using it every single day, right? So, very simple to understand, but one of the most important things. People know it, but they don't do it because it's hard. Okay? Another one. Successful people learn from their mistakes, and super successful people learn from others' mistakes. And you're basically doing what a super successful person would do right now. You're learning from me, and I've been in this business for a long time, okay? And you're basically taking my advice because I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So you take all the struggles and all the road I took, and you just learn it from me, so you don't have to take the same road. You just start off from the point I'm at right now in terms of knowledge, which is amazing, right? Also, successful people learn from their own mistakes, which makes sense, right? If you do something and you fail miserably, of course you don't stop, but what you do is you learn, and then you understand that if you take exactly the same steps you took, you will fail miserably again. So you just don't take the same steps, you try to innovate, you try to switch things up, because you just learned that that's what you did there doesn't work at all. The other one, no matter how small the project is, they take it very seriously and treat it as a big business. So this could apply to you right now. You're starting this amazing Instagram thing, right? And what a lot of people do, if they would get asked, what do you do? What's your side hustle? They would say like, oh, it's like this small thing I'm trying out, blah, blah, blah. No, what you need to say is, yes, I'm starting my own business and I'm trying to grow it to huge fortunes, and I know it has a huge potential. Because if you say it's like, oh, it's a side hustle, small project, you will treat it as one, okay? If you take it seriously and treat it as a big business, it will become a big business. You know what I mean? Because you treat it as a big business. So no matter how small the project is, take it very seriously in that moment in time. Let's say it could take you 3 days to build a new project, a new website, launch something. If you take it as a big business, it will become a big business. Like you just need to treat it like it's huge, right? And this is going to take off, and I'm going to put as much effort I need to so it takes off. Very simple, right? But if somebody asks you what is your side hustle, what are you doing with Instagram, tell them that it will be a big business. It's not a small project, right? Another thing I see what successful people have in their thoughts is they're super proud of what they're doing. Okay, no matter what it is, they understand one thing, that what they do is helping other people. Sometimes they monetize that, sometimes not, but they help hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people every single day. So they're super proud of it, because if you're ashamed of what you're doing, you're never going to get big, okay? And that's just a fact. You need to love what you're doing and be proud of it and like own it, right? That's the only way to think about your business. You need to be happy about it, because if you're not, it's never going to take off. I'm telling you, because you're not going to have that energy when you talk with other people about your business. You're not going to, treat your employees right. Everything will fall out of its place. So just be proud of what you're doing, okay? Another thing is, obviously, successful people think positively, and every mistake they make, they treat it as a lesson, not a failure. That's pretty self-explanatory, but it's totally true. I mean, have you ever seen a successful person who's like super negative and talk shit about everyone else around them? No, they're just like positive, and they have that really nice energy. You want to talk with them, they smile, they treat others really well. That's how it is. If you're truly successful, you're a positive person. Okay, so two scenarios of a success story. So this is kind of like number one, point two, but two scenarios of success. So you need to understand one thing, that some people who start a business at the same time as you, one person can like start a business, let's say an Instagram business. In 1 month, they have like 20,000 followers. They start making like few grand a month. Then they grow to like 150,000 followers. Now they're making 10,000 a month. They're living their life. And another person, after 2 months, 3 months, they could be at 150 followers. And they could really struggle and not make any money. But the thing for the second scenario, if that person keeps going, he will eventually reach the same point as the first person. So there's two scenarios, and it's totally cool to be either one. The point is, if you keep at it, you will succeed sooner or later. Okay, so self-limiting beliefs, another point, which is super important. Okay, so this is one of the most important things, and you will catch yourself doing this so much. I do this myself sometimes too. So from now on, what you need to do is really watch your language, because successful people don't have self-limiting beliefs. They disattach themselves from them. But what usually people do is they're taught from a young age that they should have self-limiting beliefs. So one of the most like popular ones, I'm not a morning person, right? Or something like that. So when they hear that successful people like wake up at 4 a.m. or 6 a.m., like early in the morning, earlier than usual people do, they always have this excuse, I'm not a morning person. I'm even cringing saying that, because you can't tell yourself that you are not, or you are some way, okay? Uh, because you're not a human being, you are a human becoming. Okay, you need to understand that. Please write that down right now somewhere. I am not a human being. I am a human becoming. And read that. Pause the video, read that, and think about it. So basically, self-limiting beliefs is things, basically affirmations you tell yourself which limit you. Okay, I'm not a morning person. Guess what? You're not going to wake up at like 5 a.m. tomorrow in the morning if you tell yourself that you're not a morning person. I'm not good at cooking. Guess what? If you tell yourself that over and over again, you will never be good at cooking. Okay? If you tell yourself, I don't know how to do math, I'm bad at math, guess what? You're going to be horrible at math, because this will compound against you. You remember that blue graph, compound interest? If you tell yourself the same things, like I can't cook, I'm not a morning person, and I'm not good at math, this will compound against you the other way around. So it starts off with hurting you a little bit, but in the long term, it will hurt you so much, it's going to be crazy, okay? So basically what you need to tell yourself is, when people say, let's say, I am dumb. No, what you say is, I can learn anything I want to if I put my head into it. Okay, I can learn anything I want to if I truly want to learn it and I put in the work. That's how you talk with yourself. I'm not a morning person. Replace that with I am a person who can wake up at any time I want. Okay? If you want to wake up at 4 a.m., that's totally cool. You can wake up at 4 a.m. Guess what will happen when you wake up at 4 a.m.? You're a morning person right now. Wow, insane, right? You just woke up at 4 a.m. So you really need to stop self-limiting beliefs. Uh, I'm in Bali right now, traveling around the world, and I hear a lot of people say I can't drive a scooter because basically everyone here drives a scooter instead of a car or an electric scooter, just a normal scooter, moped with an engine, petrol engine, right? And a lot of people tell themselves and their friends, I can't drive a scooter. And guess what? If you know how to drive a bicycle, a simple bicycle, you can learn how to drive a scooter in 1 or 2 days. But those people who are telling themselves, I can't drive a scooter, and they put that thought in their head every single day, they never do. They never do start driving a scooter. And what they do is they spend time and money and waste it on taxis here and all of that stuff, and they just lose so much time, and it's uncomfortable, it's inconvenient. I'm talking specifically about Bali, Indonesia right now, but that's just what I've heard, one of the self-limiting beliefs in the past day, right? So just think about how you talk to yourself, because it's one of the most important things in life is how you treat yourself. Imagine how fast your brain reacts when you tell, I'm not a morning person. Your brain just understands the words and takes it in as is. Brain doesn't have any emotions. It's just like a computer. It understands everything. Okay, I'm not a morning person. That means if I set an alarm at 6 a.m., I will just turn it off and go back to sleep, right? So just be very careful when you talk about yourself to other people. Be very careful when you're just you miss an appointment, okay? You forgot about a meeting, and you tell yourself, oh fuck, I'm dumb. That's really bad for you. That's super bad for you if you tell that, because your brain now believes, 100% believes that you're dumb. That's how it works. Maybe you don't actually feel dumb, but you just felt like it. You said it. You didn't think a lot about it, but your subconscious mind already thinks that you're dumb. But if you tell yourself, that you missed an appointment, well, next time I need to set a reminder before an appointment so I won't miss anything and I am smart and I won't forget it again. I will remember everything. Then that's how it's going to be. Okay. The duality mindset, you must delete. Okay, so duality mindset is basically, black and white, day and night. You understand what I'm talking about? There's two things. So basically, there's two sides of people, two camps, okay? There's one camp who believe in one thing, and there's another camp who believe in completely opposite thing. So let's say a perfect example of this would be meat people, right? People who eat meat, and vegan people. People who just hate meat and products that are made from animals, and they don't wear leather belts, and they don't wear leather shoes. They wear everything organic. They eat just plant-based diets, and people who eat meat, they just don't care. They just don't think about it, right? And vegan people always tries to tell people who eat meat how meat is bad and how you shouldn't do it and how it hurts the environment and how it hurts the animals. You've probably heard it, right? The worst thing you can do in life is choose one side, okay? That's the duality mindset. You shouldn't choose a camp. That's the thing. Okay, if you eat meat, that's totally cool. I eat meat too. But if you hear somebody tell you should become vegan, why not you try to become vegan for 1 week, and then you'll understand everything vegan people tell you. Because you can't understand what vegan people tell you if you've never been a vegan, right? It's super interesting because people hate on each other when they don't even understand their position, right? Another one is people hating capitalism. This is widely spread through the US, which is absolutely insane, right? Because everything in the US is built on capitalism. Everything in the world is basically built on capitalism. So capitalism is an idea that, basically businesses should be free and operate on their own and try to produce the best products possible and compete in an open market. And, government should have no say in how they should do it and why they should do it. and all of that, right? So there is a camp, people for capitalism and people against capitalism. Super interesting, right? Because some people think it's much better to have socialism, you know, like in Soviet Union, right, where people just, lived and did what government said. They went to the jobs government said them to go. They worked at farms which were owned by the government, right? And everyone was equal. But some people think that capitalism is just like not good because you have folks who are like billionaires and they can do whatever, and you have really poor people. But that's just like how the market works, right? That's how capitalism is. So the best ones stand out and the worst ones fall off. So the duality mindset between them is also super interesting, but you won't ever understand like a socialist if you never talk with them, and you might not agree with them, but if you talk with them, then you understand why they choose socialism over capitalism. Okay, so there also people just don't get what capitalism is, and they're against capitalism while they're using it. So there's a pretty popular meme floating around the internet where a girl is sitting at Starbucks with her $1,300 MacBook Pro and drinking a $9 coffee with her $140 Ray-Ban sunglasses, right? And on the laptop, she has a sticker which says "Smash Capitalism," which is absolutely insane because a MacBook, Starbucks, Ray-Bans are all a product of capitalism. And she thinks socialism would be way better, right? So the point is, you can't choose one side. You can't tell, like, kill all the billionaires and, give all the money to the poor. But, you can say the opposite what people are saying. So basically, just don't have this duality mindset. If you think waking up at 4 in the morning is super dumb, what I want you to do for the next week is try to wake up at 4 a.m. and you will totally understand why people wake up at 4 a.m. If you're a morning person, right, and you wake up early and you enjoy it, and you enjoy going to sleep at 10 or whatever, 10 p.m., right, try to work at night, try to study at night and wake up at like 3 p.m. and try it for a week. It sounds crazy, right? Guess what? You'll understand why other people just sleep in and why they, do stuff at night. That's like exactly what is a duality mindset. When you choose just like one thing between two, you should always try to be somewhere in the middle, okay? And I'm talking about your mindset and your opinions. You shouldn't like be, oh, only vegan. That's the only way society should look like. Because then you don't understand like what people eating meat go through. You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm all for socialism, kill capitalism, kill all the billionaires. Yeah, guess what? If you hate on billionaires, if you hate on rich people, you will never be one, okay? That's the thing. So just try to be somewhere in the middle. Try to understand both sides, right? That's like super important, and you should dive deep into this, dive deep into your thoughts, and think about like what duality mindset you have. A lot of people have like college versus no college degree. Why do you go to college, right? Why don't you go to college? So just think about it and try to be somewhere in the middle. Just try to understand that some studies are not even worth like paying $150,000 for a bachelor's degree when you get a job afterwards for 40K a year. That sounds insane, right? What an ROI is this? But if you like speak to a person who got who's a tech engineer, he will say all the best words possible about a college degree. So just like try to talk with or listen to people who are successful and haven't got any college degrees and they're in business, and try to talk with people who are like in tech, and they went through a 4-year course and now they're making 250 grand a year. That's what you should do. Okay. One thing you have to understand is becoming successful is super simple, right? But it's not easy. So like I said, to understand everything I say here, it's very simple. Like you don't have to be, Albert Einstein to understand what I'm telling you. But what is not easy is to apply it to your life. That's the most like the hard thing ever. Everything I tell you, if you do everything I tell you, like reach out to me and I'll give you a gift or something. Because it's like super, super hard to do everything, right? It's not easy. It's not easy to become successful, but it's definitely worth it. Okay? What successful people understand also is that we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. This is also a very simple concept, but basically, we already know what we need to do to become successful. We just don't do it. Okay, that's pretty simple. We already know the actions we have to take to reach the result, but we just don't do it. Okay, we feel uncertain. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds and you want to weigh 160 pounds. What would you do? Right now, when I ask yourself, you probably think, well, probably not eat junk food, probably try to eat healthier, try to like go for a run, try to do 10,000 steps a day, try to go to a gym, and sign up for a gym training camp. Wait, you already know everything. You already know everything. How to do it. You know all the steps. The healthy eating, you already know it. Going to the gym, doing 10,000 steps to burn the calories, you already know that. You already heard that somewhere, but you're just not doing it, okay? So you need to be reminded more than you need to be taught, okay? So probably when you hear a few things here in the course, you probably know these things already. You just need to be reminded to do it, because if you don't do it, then there's zero result. There's zero action, there's zero result. If you do it, then everything will change, okay? Which is very interesting. Okay, and what successful people also understand is you need to listen to successful people when they speak and read books that successful people read. Okay, so ever wonder why successful people go golfing? It's very simple, networking. They just want to talk with other successful people. Why? Because when they speak to other successful people, their energies match, they have the same ideas, they talk about the same things. They're a perfect match to talk with, right? That's why they go golfing. That's why you see rich folks golfing, because they can always discuss business and whatever they like, and tell their wives that it's just a game and you're going to do some sports, but in reality you're just networking with other successful people, also reading books that successful people read. So just imagine a book, right? A book that a successful person wrote is so valuable. It's like it has a value of a lifetime. Just imagine it. Like a successful person lived his whole life and put all of his lessons and what he learned and all of his thoughts in one book you can buy for like $10. Can you imagine that? Like, and imagine how many books there are in the world of successful people. Probably millions, right? Like crazy amounts of books. Crazy. So just imagine, like, if you would try to read like all the books successful people wrote, you couldn't read it in your whole lifetime, right? But what you could do is read one of the best ones out there that successful people have wrote, the one of the best rated ones, and you get in the mind of a person who lived a very successful life for $10. So just think about it. Read books. It's very good for you. So the next thing is your diet and being active. Is it important? Absolutely yes. Okay. To become successful, you need to become a completely different person. So like if you're eating junk food and like pizza and burgers and all of that, that's totally cool. But if you want to become successful and be active and do a lot of work, a good diet and good sleep and being active will help you tremendously. Okay. So why is it important? You will have more energy. You will be much more productive. So a lot of people, what they do is they work from 9 to 5, right? From 9 to 5, just like simple 8 hours. But in reality, they do 30 minutes of work, 45 minutes of work, maybe an hour of work. Being productive means if you worked 8 hours a day, you've probably worked like 7 hours and 30 minutes. That's the goal. The other 30 minutes is like for your water and for your toilet and whatever. But you want to be productive, definitely eating healthy and being active will help you out with that. I mean, if you eat healthy and you are active, you will feel like you have more time in a day. And that's a fact. Like you will feel completely different. You will have more drive to succeed. You'll feel this like burning desire to succeed, okay? And healthy mind, a healthy body equals healthy mind. So it all correlates, okay? If you want to have a great mindset, try to have a great body, and that will come along together, right? And what I want to tell you is, I'm not telling you to not eat your favorite foods, or like never eat McDonald's, or never, eat Snickers or whatever, never drink Coke. No, my main goal here is to just for you to eliminate junk food out of your diet as much as possible, which will slow your way to success. Okay, so sometimes, of course, like one time in a week, you can have whatever you want. One meal a week, okay, 2 meals a week maybe, and try to spread it out. But don't go on this like cheat day spree where you eat like very healthy for 6 days, and then on day 7 you just like eat the worst possible things you can eat, and you make it up for a week, right? That doesn't help you at all, okay, because you ruined it. But if you eat like one cheat meal, and Wednesday lunch and another one on Saturday evening, and you had a beer or a glass of wine, that's totally cool. Like, that's totally okay. So just make sure you're eliminating as much junk food as possible. Having a routine and sleeping schedule, you might think this is a small detail, but this is huge, okay? In business, you need to be consistent to succeed. You need to bring consistency in your life too. So personal life and business life is very correlated together. So if you're consistent in your life and your routine and your food and your sleeping schedule and being active and going to the gym, that will correlate very strongly to your business. So like uploading daily, finding new clients, making money consistently, all those things I just told you are super correlated. How to find a perfect sleeping schedule? Very simple. Go to sleep every day at the same time. So make sure it's the best time for you. Find a time where you could wake up at that time every day for the rest of your life, but it's not too late. Okay, so I'm going to explain this real quick. So it's very hard to wake up every single day at the same time because one day you might go to sleep at like 10 p.m. and another day you're going out for a party and you're going to sleep at 2 a.m. And to wake up at 6 a.m., it would be super hard when you go to sleep at 2, and it would be okay when you go to sleep at 10. So it's just like very interesting, okay? So what you need to find is how you find a perfect sleeping schedule is basically you go to sleep every single day at the same time. You choose one time, no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's a weekday or a weekend. You choose one time. Let's say 11 p.m. 11 p.m. sounds pretty good. If you go to sleep at 11 p.m. every single day, it doesn't matter when you wake up if you actually go to sleep at 11, because you will probably wake up one day, you will wake up at 6, another day you will wake up at 8, another day you will wake up at 7, another day you will wake up at like 7:15, but the thing is, it's pretty early still. It's early enough like to crush your day, and if you wake up naturally, you'll always feel like you had enough sleep, right? But just to make sure it's early enough and you feel good, what you need to do is go to sleep at the same time every single day. And this will help you tremendously. So having a schedule is super important. So make sure you write down your daily tasks and do them. What I mean by that is as soon as you wake up, right? Let's say you went to sleep at 11 p.m. and you woke up at 7. As soon as you woke up and went to the shower and did everything, as soon as you sit down to work, please just take out a notebook or open like a Google Doc or a Notion task on your PC, whatever you feel like is the best for you, and write down everything you need to do in that day. Okay, then what you do is basically you write down all the things you need to do, and then you try to add time frames for those things. So let's say you need to create 10 posts, 10 future posts for your Instagram account. What you do is you set the time, okay? So from like 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., you will do that. And then from 11 to 12, you will do, you will try to find a logo for your, new business, and so on and so forth. This will help you tremendously, okay? So this was module 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next module.